Hi, everybody. It's Robbie from Southern California, and I'm out here with my camera in hand, so you can't see it, cup of coffee, my phone. Nobody's going to call me anyways. Phone isn't working half the time anyways. And just sitting out here in the garden. It's kind of early. The sun's coming up, and I've just been watching nature and looking at my plants and deciding what's next. I know a lot of you are still too cold to start planting, but it's never too early to start thinking about how you want to do it. And that's what I think you should be doing. It's kind of on a nice day, get out there, walk around, see how you want to set it up, see what way will work better for you, see how you can keep it easy. I've talked about if you're going to do container gardening, you put something in a row like this. I take a hose, go across with a hose or a watering can. I collect the water from underneath as well. And it's done in minutes. And that's kind of what you want to do. You want to set something up that's done in minutes. Now, if you want to do hard labor and you want to dig up the ground and you want to just have a huge garden outside in the ground, more power to you. Fantastic. Go for it. Don't do what somebody tells you what to do. You do what's going to make you happy, what's going to work for you. I mean, I watched a guy once on YouTube. Oh my goodness. He dug, he turned, he pulled his shirt off. He was sweating and doing all this stuff, and I thought, I'm doing the same thing without doing anything he's doing. So I messaged him and I said, do you really think you have to do all that to get your garden growing and to get some food growing? And he said, no, he actually wanted the workout. So that I understand. Absolutely. That I understand. He knew he didn't have to do all that labor, and it was maybe fun to watch for some people. But the point is, you don't have to. So if you want to get a workout, most certainly dig and turn, and you can make your 3 system. Look at the scrub jay. He's down there in the feeder. I left some peanuts in there this morning, and he knows it because I was actually working right there, and he landed right next to me. Literally 1 foot looked at me and grabbed a peanut. Isn't that cute? So most certainly you want to set up what is going to work for you and what you want to do. I can't do all that. Plus, I've created too many gardens. So if I had it all separate in all different ways, I would not be finishing up what I'm trying to do. You know, I can have dinner in the evening, and we've been having our dinners earlier lately. And actually, I feel better that way. And coming out here, and within the hour, I've got everything done. I can water my wall, which is down here, the whole thing, all the way down the driveway. I can take care of the chair garden, which, just walk through if I want. I mean, do I come out here and service, let's say, the chair garden and everything every day? No. There's sometimes days I don't even go down to the chair garden right now because, it's just stuff from last year. I don't need anything, so I may not go there. But what I'm saying is, if I do want to do a full loop and take care of everything, I'm done within the hour. Because of the way I've got everything set up. Everything's in a row. So if I grab the hose, my hose fits, you can barely see it, but it goes to the chair garden. I can drag it down here and go part way. And then I have another hose that will finish this up. And I'm still kind of moving things around. I'm going to change this up. I'm going to set up more of those 2 system setups that I do. It's a scrub jay. He's screaming. See the 2 system one? I'm going to set a lot more up of those. That has been fantastic. It's got a lot of squash on it. I've been picking small zucchini all year. Technically, it should not be growing at all. It's not up against the wall, even though it gets a little warmth from the wall. It's actually sitting in the driveway, the plant. But the point is that bucket that has a lid on it, I'm going to do it a little differently. That bucket that's got a lid, I just clean up and pull leaves down. And then I throw it in there. So it can even be kitchen scraps. I have a bucket, by the sink, and I throw things in there, and eggshells and all that, and it doesn't matter what it is. And I will toss everything in there if I don't know where to put it. And now right now I'm setting up a lot of different containers around the yard, so I've got plenty of place to put it. But when I don't know where to put it, I can toss it in there, and that kept that plant going. So even though that is a small 18-gallon tote with a 5-gallon bucket in it, that's a square one with a lid, I think I'm going to take the larger ones. I never planted in those last year. A bunch of sunflowers came up. And I'm going to move those against the wall. I'm going to make it more uniform. Not that I have to, but I don't want to reach. And so you're thinking, wait, it's only 18 inches, 2 feet to reach. It's not that. It's if I plant squash, they get so big and massive, you have to dig into it. So I want to go more along the wall. I'm going to put them along the wall, move the small ones over in the cage area around. Gary built those raised beds a while ago, and then he put, it looks like a cage, but it's not. It's from a refrigerator or something he picked up. So he tacked that on there. I think I'm going to drop some totes in there. Keeps rabbits out. And then I'm going to do it straight and put some more 2 systems in there. I've got the whole video on how it works, and you can make it as small as cottage cheese containers for small pots. And let me tell you, it works. It really works. And when you lift them up, if you have a small one, and I've lifted them up, they'll be full of earthworms underneath, because what you're throwing in there will bring the earthworms and they'll feed right underneath. They may go in or they may not, but they'll feed. It's fantastic. There's that bird I want to see again. So I may shut the camera off for a minute and grab a photo. I've got some videos, but I want a photo because there's something odd about the bird. Okay, I will be right back. Sorry about that. I got a photo of the female. I did not get a really good photo of the male. It's really the male I want. And I didn't mean to leave you to do that. That's actually why I come out in the morning and have my coffee. You never know what's going to come about flying. And they've been going to Aloe Vera over there, and I've never seen them feed off that, even though I knew that they would. I've just never seen it before. I was out there the other day, down by the bathtub working. Gosh, it might have been yesterday. And they were screaming and screaming, and I couldn't figure out what in the world they were screaming about. I mean, there's nothing there for them. And today I know what it is. They wanted me to get away. They're very shy. Orioles are not like hummingbirds. They won't just come feed right in front of you. They will a little bit once they get to know you. The babies, when the parents bring them to feed at the feeders, the babies will. The babies will come down and feed around you. But as they get older and they become adults, they become leery of things. So that's what they were screaming about. They wanted to come feed because they have a nest and they're feeding babies. So they're taking food out of the hummingbird feeder. They're hunting for insects. And, you know, right now, it's a little difficult for them to find some of the stuff they like. They eat a lot of hornworms, and I don't have any hornworms. The tomatoes are just starting. The older plants have no, hornworms on them or anything. There's not that many insects around right now. So they really have to hunt for insects, and they do feed their babies a lot. So that's it. So what was I saying? I'm going to set up more 2 system totes, because come next winter, I'll be able to keep a lot of the squash growing. And I've done that before, and I didn't do it this last year. So I want to get that set up. So I'm going to use the bigger ones to do that right now, since I have those big ones I'm not using. I was going to plant corn in them last year. I haven't bought the corn seed, and I never did. So I'm going to do corn, hopefully, if I don't run out of time, a little differently. I can walk over for a minute. I do have these almost set up. So I'm very excited with this. So once it's set up, I'll show you. And I do want to get some totes together. Once I start going back into the chair garden, I will actually take you with me and show you exactly what I'm going to do with, let's say, used soil. Some people throw it away. You don't throw used soil away, because those totes in the chair garden are fantastic. The soil is fantastic. It just needs, some more food added to it, which is simply garden waste. So I have to do that, and I'll take you with me. These were all new setup. You know exactly, if you watch any of my videos, what a new setup is. Nothing different. Everything was branches. I probably still have stuff in here. Yeah, see? All that. Gary trimmed a tree down. I think this is pomegranate. Put that all on the bottom, and that's why it drains so good. Look, I've made many mistakes. In the beginning, when I started my garden, I was loading it up with native soil. You know what our native soil looks like? It's clay. Do you know what I created? Cement bottoms almost. It was like they wouldn't drain. They worked really, really well in the beginning. And after a short time, I'm watering them, and the water's not coming out. I'm poking. Why is the hole looks big enough? Why isn't it coming through? Well, because it created a cement block almost under that. By putting all this matter underneath, I mean, even potting soil can do that after a while. But putting all this underneath, it just goes for years. I don't have to even think about it. It's been fantastic. So I haven't had to do anything with the chair garden. Every tote that I set up last year is draining. I had one down there that wasn't draining. That wasn't really set up last year. But it wasn't draining because roots got in the bottom, and I didn't realize that tree roots. The trees put their roots in and expanded and blocked the hole. So when I pulled it away, it's fine now. And Gary asked me why it's not up against the wall. I had to get rid of the tree roots, and I did find an ant nest underneath. By simply pulling it away, I disturbed them, hosed around, and they disappeared. The rest of them are all fine. And this is all new setup. So the new setup, this is going to drain for years. Beautiful, because when the bottom is wood parts. You can go around and collect all this if you don't, bits and pieces of wood, tree branches, mix it up with brown leaves and green leaves. I wouldn't pack the whole bottom with, let's say, grass clippings. You could if that's all you've got, but put that more in the middle because that could cake down. I mean, you think of the branches, look at how much airspace there is. I hope you can see that. See how much airspace this would create? Let's say if I was going to set this up, I could start building on top of that. Make sure it's draining, build on top. Well, that's what I did with all these. And they're doing really, really good. So I'm going to get zucchini in here. I have 3 different types of zucchini I bought. And the smart thing, if I was collecting seeds, would be to really only grow one type on the property, or at least in this whole area, and then I could collect the seeds. But I want to see what they look like, the plant itself. So I think I'm going to do each one. Of course, I could change my mind, and have a different one in each black tote. Those are pretty strong. That's why I can stack them. I was almost going to go 3 high. I don't know if I will. But I'm going to go ahead and do one in each one. So when the leaf grows, I'll know if the leaf looks different, if the flower looks different. It probably won't. And compare the plants. And I'll also be able to see what grows better in basically the same condition. And you go, why did you say basically? Because everything is different no matter what. This is as close as I can get. Everything is different. But basically the same condition, up against the wall, same weather condition, same soil condition. I can see if there is one that just doesn't grow good here, and if there is one that grows fantastic. So it's kind of a test. I'll do that. And then on the top, Gary had built this out of PVC and wire he had. See, it's just PVC. All the way around. It's got the caps on the sides. And he hung this here, like I said, last year with his rebar. See how he hung it on the cement? Just bent his rebar and hung it. 1, 2, 3.
G'day, I'm Gary. I'm going to show you how I bend rebar using a few simple things that you might have lying around. I use these rebar hooks to grow my vining or climbing plants.
2 pieces of rebar, some PVC, some wire, and I never used it. Never got to it. I had a little bit of cucumbers growing here, not much. You can see the remnants left from it, say. It's a little bit of the cucumber that was there. But I really didn't get serious and do anything. Well, now I am. So I've got under here cucumber. Isn't that cool? I just put in my plant in by seed, and look, it's labeled. I know exactly. There is nothing greater than making labels from the tote lid. See how I cut the center of the tote lid out? I go ahead and make my labels out of the center of the tote lid, and then I make these, and we will get into how I make these. This has been a lifesaver too. So I make that, and here's another tote lid. I made this one last year, and the video's up on how easy it is to make this. And that one's got a watermelon in the middle and 2 cucumbers. You go, why a watermelon? Well, here's the thing. I wasn't sure if I really wanted to start growing yet because I figured we may end up going into a cold spell. So I took 5 cucumber seeds, put them in how I do it in a plastic bag with paper towel and then wrapped in cardboard. Hey everybody, it's Robbie from Southern California, and today I want to share with you one of my very favorite ways to start seeds where you have no waste and you know your seeds are good before you plant them. And the 5 sprouted, so I ended up with 5 seeds, and I took 2 watermelon and only 1 sprouted. These seeds I bought last year, it's a sugar baby. Yep, sugar baby watermelon, the little ones. And we grew them last year. They were wonderful. So only 1 sprouted. So I thought, you know what? I'll mix it up a little bit. So I went ahead and put the 3 cucumbers in there. I put the 2 cucumbers and the watermelon in there. And we'll see, we'll come back. I'll do a whole video on this setup and everything when they start growing. And why is one flat and one not? Just because I made them that way. I was moving them around. That was covering a zucchini. And now the zucchini is too big to cover, and that was covering seedlings. This is fantastic for seedlings when I make the covers on the totes, because I'll use this example. My daughter plants everything in the ground, except now she's got totes, because remember I got 18 lids from her. And she was planting all her cucumbers in the ground. She said they never grew last year, a certain cucumber she was growing, a certain variety. I think they did grow, because I took some seeds and I've got 1 growing. But the point is, birds, insects love sprouted seeds. So the moment they come up and they have the 2 first leaves, not the adult leaves, the regular leaves, the mature leaves, but the first tiny, I don't have anything in here with 2 new little leaves. Soon as they come up, they can be eaten Birds will fly in here. But you know what? Now I can uncover it. I'm going to wait for the watermelon to start reaching the top, and maybe when the cucumber touches it. This protects them, and now really they don't eat those leaves. They only eat the new leaves. See, and then what I did was I took it out of the cardboard and I planted them in this 6-pack, so it was perfect. I had 5 cucumbers packed in there and 1 watermelon, and I just transplanted it and finished that one up yesterday. So yes, they were in there. I planted those first and was trying to find the time, and yesterday was the day, and look how beautiful. Planted them yesterday and they're doing really good. I'm very impressed. What's nice about this is if it was really hot, I could throw, let's say, a material on it, t-shirt, an old flag or something, and shade them a little bit if I wanted to too. So that's it. So what I'm just emphasizing, really wanted to talk about when you're getting ready, because I know really who's growing right now. Maybe Arizona's starting a little bit, and Texas and certain places, and California, of course. But still areas, Washington, Oregon, all the Midwest, you're still too cool, but you can think about how you want to set it up. And there's nothing wrong. It's actually wonderful. If you are going to do in a raised bed or totes or something, buckets, start to collect your leaves and whatever you can find. Paper, stuff from the house that you're throwing away, anything that was once alive, that all will break down, and you can put that in there so you can get ready. So the moment you think it's right, you could even try growing a little. And even in the ground. You have seen, I had a video where I had this plant. Oh, it was a dazzling blue kale. Ended up growing like 10 feet tall. I actually dug a hole, buried kitchen scraps and all kinds of stuff like I put in my totes in there, covered it, and the plant next to it just shot up. So you do that in the ground as well. But you grow whatever way grows and works well for you. That's what the Orioles were screaming about. So I was standing there over by the bathtub, was just walking around through here, and they were in that tree. They're screaming and screaming. Now I know they're feeding on those flowers. Aren't they beautiful? Oh, we have a little guy here. Oh, this is a little toey walking around on the ground. All right, so I figured I'd just say hello. Think about how you want to set it up, because it's really good if you could do it now. Start setting it up or thinking about it before you plant. And this way you don't have to think too hard then. You're just really getting into the mode of starting the plant. And that's what I have been doing pretty much all winter. I was going to do a winter garden, and then I thought, well, I have enough stuff that's still growing. I still have tomatoes down there, things that were still growing. So I concentrated on what was still growing, but I walked through and decided or thought about ways of setting things up. Isn't that cool? I don't know. He finds racks. Some came from refrigerators. I'm not even sure where he sees people throw things away, and he picks them up, and then he screwed them on with some bolts and stuff and just did his thing. And I only had an eggplant in there that looked really bad, so I composted that, and I want to change it around a little bit and really need to get the pods off this moringa. And that is basically it. So that's it for today. Just wanted to say hello. I am going to get some stuff done. I think I'm going to work a little bit in the rainbow garden and get that going. There's too much here, too much clutter. This wasn't even supposed to stay here last year back here. That was full of celery, and I left it. See, it wasn't even turned right, and just left it. But I'm going to kind of straighten this out, and I want to definitely, here's the 2 system up close. We're leaving this for the goldfinches, and the bush tits come in here. They all have babies right now, and they're going nuts looking for food, and this is a big food source for them. This is sow thistle. It's a weed here. It's in the dandelion family. They're all the same type of plant, and we can eat it too, but they really need the seeds. So I've been leaving all that. See, here's another one, and they've been working it all morning. But this has been wonderful, and there's better ways of setting it up too. This is a really old bucket. I'll put a link to the video, but this bucket has got holes on the bottom and holes, you can't see it because it's half buried, see, holes all the way around the side, and even I put some holes on the top. Let's see what's in here. See? All kinds of junk. I even see a tomato growing in. Oh, 2 tomatoes. I don't want them. I've got tomatoes everywhere. You can put something heavy on that and nothing will get into it. And with the holes all the way around the side, earthworms work it. And then they'll go into the holes and go into the bucket as well. If it gets too wet, they'll move around, move out. But it just feeds this plant. And this plant shouldn't even really be alive. Look at this. Look at the cluster. I hope you can see that. I want to pull the plant out. Look at that. I keep picking them. It's just, these are small zucchini. There's a whole bunch of them starting here. It's 2 things making this plant go wild. Number 1, we're now in spring, so it's the right time for the plant to grow. And number two, that's the big one. It's constantly being fed, so it kept it alive all winter. The other ones kind of dwindled away. I got some squash on them, not too much. There's another one I think behind me I'm getting a little bit on, but this is the big one, and it's because of that, because it constantly throws something in. So it's something to think about. You know, if you're constantly feeding something and you're not adding in food that might be too strong for it, let's say you're putting too much, or this is all nature. If it doesn't want that food from that bucket, then it's not going to use it. It will just run out. See the holes on the bottom? You probably remember I had a squash growing here in the ground next to those holes. Like I said, I'm throwing things around here till I decide. I had a squash there. And it grew. There was one there, there was one there, I think there was one there, and it grew this whole length. That's why I want them flat up against the wall. I had squash growing all through here, and they looked like watermelon. They were so big. That's too big, but I didn't pick them in time, and I don't want to do that this year, but we'll see. So that's just something I've been thinking about, and I mean, this is just amazing. This is all last year's stuff. I planted this eggplant last year, and it looks like it's going to do better in its second year than it did its first, and that's fantastic. Still have peppers. I don't want to do this. This is not a garden tour. But, you know, this is all last year's stuff. So what I get to do is sit down with a chair and go through one toad at a time and decide what I want to do with it. And decide if it's going to be refurbished and changed, or just maybe thrown in some leaves, which would you call refurbished, and let it do its thing. So we'll see. But this I have a plan for. And this is going to be zucchini, because zucchini is my favorite squash. I can do everything with it. I blend it up, and I make cakes out of it. I make pancakes out of it. I haven't made pizza yet. Nope, let me back. I'm going to make pizza out of it. I think it might work, but we'll see. I don't use zucchini in my pizza dough. I have a special pizza dough I make. But I'm going to try it. I hope it will work, but if not, that's okay. I think I can make ice cream out of it, and I think I did make some ice cream out of it. So I've got a lot of plans for zucchini, because I use it for everything. Isn't that cool? It's so pretty. It's so peaceful. It's really nice. They're not working on the house today. It's quiet up there. Maybe they're waiting for inspectors to go through and check it out and see if everything was put together right, because they weren't there yesterday either. And that's it. So I thought I'd just come and say hello. I want to work a little bit in my rainbow garden. I want to work on my pizza section. I could turn around for a minute. Let's see. What am I going to do in here? I've got every chair set up. This I do, but I'm actually starting to use this for a nursery. There's some certain tomatoes around here, and I squish them. And oh my goodness, see, there's way too many. Let me show you. I just put up a video on tomatoes. See this? Oh, see, yesterday when I did the video, there was just a few. This is the sun golds. And now there's what? 10? 15? This is a different one, and this is another one. And then these two are zucchinis. This is a cutting I put here that's making a comeback. That's just a cutting. Took some out, and this is what you do. You take out what you want. Separate's easy. Oh, there's nothing easier than separating tomatoes. You even break the roots a little bit, they'll still keep going. This is something else. Oh, this is a mushroom plant that I rooted. That's right. Just a piece of mushroom plant. But I'm done here for now. If I want to change something out or a plant is finished, I have learned a lot. I don't know why, but I have learned a lot that I didn't expect. See the mustard plant? Look how the leaves on it. Oh, whacked you in the face, didn't I? See the mustard plant? Look at the leaves. They're like elephant ears, okay? Same here. What's in here? This is a good thing to talk about. I've got lettuce in here, a broccoli plant, onions in here. I've even got some tomato cuttings in here. Oh, I've got too much in here. This is my oregano that is setting root that has to come out because this is going in my little pizza garden. And then I've got some Korean melons because I only wanted to test the seeds. And I have an asparagus plant. And look how big my purple mustard is, okay? Bought those seeds from Baker Creek. Okay, then I've got the mustard here I showed you, just growing with onions, nothing else. Okay, then let's see. Then I've got the mustard here. I find this fascinating. They're not growing. They're stunted. See how little the leaves are? Started to grow. They're dying back. I'll compost that. Here's one leaf, but it's dying back. There's 2 Black Beauty zucchinis in there. Obviously, the zucchini plant either is The roots are sending a signal out or enzyme or something to kill the mustard or keep it from growing. I don't know. Or it's pulling all the nutrients, the same exact thing the mustard needs. Something, the mustard and the zucchini are not working together well. That's a good learning lesson. And I've got an eggplant. I can walk over here real quick. I have made this too long. I wanted to say hello for a few minutes. I've got the same thing going on over here where I've got the same purple mustard I planted that won't grow. And this is an eggplant. So the eggplant is not allowing the mustard to grow for whatever reason, and it took off. I mean, this was like, if you look back at the garden tours a couple months ago, it was a little nothing. The pepper is okay, but not the mustard. So you never know what's going to do good with what. You know, as they say, companion plants. I guess you could say that. It's basically, it could be nutrients. It could be a lot of different things. Oh, and going back to this, they won't grow real big. They'll stay like really small in this cluster like this until I move them. They'll either get pulled out or individual pots are moved. This is the one I really wanted. I believe I'd have to look it up. See, I didn't label this one. I think these are the ones that Gary likes. It's kind of like a midnight snack Brad's thing. And this one I think is the same thing. But this is the one I want. See, the stem is purple on those, so I will know. Oh, I've got another. Yes, I do. I have another Black Beauty coming up here. But these are going to go. These are important to me. So as soon as they get a little size, I'm going to pop them out, put them in individual cups, and then I can move them anywhere I want. And you know how I do this. I don't know if I can do this. I don't, hit the bottom, I don't even take them out of the cups. The cups are lined in plastic, so keep an eye out. I'll split the cup a little bit as it's growing, but it will just bust through, and then I don't have to disturb the plant. Tomatoes are really easy. You can pull it out of the cup. But if you were doing something a little more delicate, you don't have to take it out of the cup. Certain plants, like even people say moringas, they grow moringa trees and they put them in the ground, they die. Isn't that funny? A plant that's so hardy like that grows so big, a lot of times you can't move them. Start those in a paper cup, big or small, and plant the cup and all, and let them bust out, and they won't even know they got moved. Sometimes certain plants don't want to know they got moved. Tomatoes are fine. All right, so now I talked your ear off. Look at that. Yeah, see what I did here. Let me see what I wrote here. I had 2 that were sprouting with roots when I planted them, and I had 6 seeds that no matter what I did not sprout. So what I did was I put them in here. So we've got 2. Here was the 2 that were sprouting with roots, so I put those in even. Then I threw the other seeds in there, and obviously one of them that wasn't sprouting is going to come up. That will be too many. So I don't want to put no more than 2 zucchini. You can do it. My daughter said she had 6 spaghetti squash growing in one tote. If you're throwing a lot of leaves in there and composting, because I do reuse the water, yes, but it's too much. It really is. You want to get nice fruit, so you want to have no more than 2. Move them. Zucchini, you can move them. They'll fall over, look terrible. They'll look like they're screaming, no, I'm not going to live here. And then I'll pop back up and grow. I've been moving squash, so I know that. So that's pretty much it. So I am going to, that's what I was saying, I'm not working here yet, but I am going to work here. I'm going to get my pizza thing set up, and then I'll show you how I'm going to do that. That will be a vertical garden, and I'll have, hopefully, all the herbs I use in my fabulous pizza that Gary loves. And yes, I am trying to work out how to do the video so you can understand it. It's easy, but it looks complicated, and that's what I'm trying to do. I may end up just going on live and saying, this is what I do. So I may end up doing that, I'll see. But this is going to be my pizza garden here. Then I'll figure out as I get there what I want to do. Here I haven't figured out exactly. I'm going to set up another strawberry tower. I just ordered some strawberries because I think the strawberries are doing wonderful. We've eaten a few, but look at this. Aren't they beautiful? They are doing fantastic, and there's nothing nicer than being able to turn it. And you could set it up anywhere you want. I know I can't back up anymore. Isn't that cool? And yeah, the birdseed gets around because we feed the birds so much. So if you see a piece of grass, pull it out. You didn't even get to see that. Just pull it out and drop it back in. It's basically, it's green manure. Look at that, see? Just drop it back in. It's grass. It's going to dry up. You've pulled it out. So isn't that great? And this is the squash I've been moving. I don't want that many. I don't know what I'm going to do right now. I threw them in there thinking, well, I'll see what I decide. But I've got them growing in here. I told the story on the garden tour. I was testing. I had some seeds I did not want to grow. There they are. All squash, hybrids. And I figured I'd keep throwing them in there. If I uncover them, I'll get rid of them. See, I threw a couple there. See, I moved a couple and just stuck them in there yesterday, and they're doing fantastic. And I moved 1 or 2 over here. I moved 1. And I didn't label it. I'm not sure. One was a zucchini, I think, and see, I didn't label it. This is why I got to label it. Anyways, I was testing the seeds, and they wouldn't grow. So I threw a few more there, and then they wouldn't grow, and I thought I'll just wait. And then all of a sudden, when the time was right, Mother Nature said, okay, go for it, and they all came up. So I've been moving them, and since I really don't want them, and I don't want to cater to them, and I don't care if the animals eat them, I'm going to spot them around like I did here. This is a pot with an open bottom. So I just water it, and it's just going to go that way, straight into the ground. I might stick a couple in the ground, and let's put it this way. If I don't eat the squash, I can leave it for the animals or cook it up real quick for the dogs. They love squash. So I think I have talked your ear off, and I'm going to go. And I can't believe these papayas. This has been unbelievable. Isn't that gorgeous? Dropped a couple off at the neighbors, and she was so excited. She wants more. All right, so with that, I'm going to get to work before I forget and go do something else. Get a few things moved. I'm going to set up this corner real quick and look at it and say, okay, let's go for it. That's the way I want it. This is not the way I want it, but I'm going to set it up and get that set up the way I want it. And up here, I don't know if you can see the birds flying back and forth. There's a nest up there, and they keep going up there, and they want me out of here. That's it, and then I'll kind of look around and see what else. I can't believe this is almost done. This will be really cool. We'll set that up and I'll show you. This is going to be fantastic. That black one with the chair. This is going to take care of this whole garden when it comes to plant food. We'll do that probably within the next month. So get your garden thoughts out there. Think about how you want to do it. Make it easy so it becomes a normal way of life, because if you make it hard, you simply won't do it. It'll be too much work. And you don't want to make it work. You want to make it fun. Yes, a little work. Exercise is good for us a little bit, but you can sit down and do it if you've got a bad back. I can sit down with the chair and I can service this. I don't have to bend to the ground to get anything. And it does keep a lot of critters out, and it keeps gophers out. You got a gopher problem? I don't. We do. Gary's got a problem in his garden with gophers right now. I don't have a gopher problem here. They don't climb up chairs. So gophers, you got gophers. This is the best way to get rid of the gophers. $5 a tote. Unreal. The same size bed that you would go purchase, you can buy garden beds, raised beds on legs, are going to cost you about $100 to $150, and 3 totes pretty much equals one of those beds. So, what are you going to do? This is the way I like, and they're made out of plastic too. So these are all 2s, they're all 5s. Either one of those are food grade. Look it up. It's fantastic. A little triangle with the number. So with that, have a wonderful, wonderful day. And I'm quite anxious to start setting this up and seeing how I want to get this going, because I've already got plants I want to put in there, especially the thyme that Gary didn't know was mine, and he planted in his garden. So I planted a whole bunch, and he thought it was bok choy because they were tiny. And I said, go ahead and take the bok choy. And then when I went to get the thyme, he took them all. So I'm going to get some thyme in here. And I only need a few. I don't even know where he planted it. I got to go take a look. This week at least. So with that, have a wonderful, wonderful day. I'm going to go finish my coffee and get some work done. And don't forget to eat what you grow. Bye-bye, everybody. Massive.